At this point, I would like to present the first panel that will be with our port agencies and DIABOS, the DA system. And I would like to thank our network, because the agency network at first, and then we will go to the towage network, because all this year of pandemic, they supported the Greek shipping companies 24, 365. We had no problems at all, and everything has been in a great professional way. So I would like to welcome Mr. Sushil Mulchandani, Chief Executive Officer of BAXI in India, Jose Echeverria, General Manager of ILG Logistics in Panama, Hugh Buchanan, Operations Director, AGENCIA Maritima NABSA, Argentina, and last but not least, the lady of the panel, Meera, Kumar, Head of DIABOS Business Unit, DA's Processing System. Thank you very much. It is so great. I cannot hug you, and you know how much I'm missing hugging and saying our news. But it's important that even like this, we can communicate Navigator's family to the shipping world. So everybody's okay? Great. I would like to start with Sushil and BAXI of India. Sushil, thank you very much. Sushil, it's just to unmute.
Yeah.
Great.
Hi, good evening. Can I share my presentation if it's okay?
Of course, in the share screen, we will see your presentation.
It's visible?
Great.
Right? Great. So first of all, Danae, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. It's really a pleasure to be part of your 30th anniversary, the Navigator Forum. 30 years, and of which 10 years we have been with you, and it has been a great association so far. And we hope to continue this association in coming future also. Just to introduce us, we are BAXI, one of the, well, basically India's premier shipping services company. We are the oldest shipping agency in India, which is 105 years old. So it's more than a century of serving the shipping interests in India and to all the principals worldwide. As on date, we handle more than 5,000 ship calls every year in different ports. In fact, we are the only agency in India that has got an office in every big and small port of the country. And we have our values, which is firmly entrenched because it's a family organization. So the humility, honesty, it percolates right from our owners down to every individual in every office of our group. And it's not just on paper, we practically follow this, and every principal who has dealt with us will vouch for that. Our BAXI group started as a shipping support services, but has diversified into 4 verticals. The first services, which I'm representing. Then second is the logistics vertical, wherein we have end-to-end logistics for all types of cargoes, whether it is bulk, break bulk, heavy lifts, containers. So we provide end-to-end logistics, including the sea freight, the air freight, the road haulage, rail haulage, whatever type of logistics support required in India, we are there. We also diversified in last 2 decades into infrastructure. So we are operating container terminals, we are operating break bulk terminals, and we are operating container freight stations. So that's the infrastructure vertical. And lastly, the technology vertical, of which Meera is one of the members, and Portal, the 2 sections wherein it provides the platform for various transactions by the shipping fraternity. Something which the speaker in the last panel was mentioning about the way automation has come about during the COVID period and the way people like Jeff Bezos and all have grown. We are, of course, nowhere close to that, but automation is the key going forward, and we are catching up there. We handle all types of agencies, whether it's tramp, full agencies, charterers agencies. We represent different ship owners, different charterers all over the world, providing various kinds of services from A to Z. You name the service in India, and we are there to provide that. The COVID, what everybody is talking about, it's had its severe impact in India too. What started in last year as a first wave, and now we are facing the second wave, which is more dangerous and spreading much faster. But vaccination also has started in a big way. This presentation was made a week before when we had mentioned the 60 million people getting vaccinated. But as on date, in last 2 weeks, it has touched 120 million. So more than double have been vaccinated. I think it's more than the population of some other countries itself that the vaccination in India has taken place. But that, as they say, whenever there's an adversity, there's also some opportunities and some good things happen. So in India, the thing that has helped us on the automation side. Now, the customs side, there is a new regulations called Sea Cargo Manifest Regulation, which JM BAXI has been well versed, possibly one of the very few agencies that have geared itself to comply with the regulations that has been floated by the customs in last few months. We also have been able to update our principles on real-time basis through our website, which is a newly formed interactive website. All of you are most welcome to visit this website to see how we have really evolved in the COVID period to report to our principals and also give them the information on real-time basis. This website is also enabling the ship owners and charterers and brokers to work out the PDA on their own. So it's total transparency. Every port, every berth in India, you name it, and you can calculate the port disbursement charges which are available at your fingertips. What also happened during the COVID period is that we formed the Nerve Center in Mumbai, which is still prevalent, and this comprises of senior management. So all the things that are happening in any port is known to this Nerve Center, and the decisions are taken immediately to cater to whatever requirements the principals have. All our offices in all the branches are equipped with high quality PPE. All our people who are going on ships, they have the right kind of the masks and sanitizers and high-vis jackets, you name the PPE that is required to work in a port, and we are given that. Just to give a little brief of what's happening in the cargo trade in India over the last 1 year, there have been mixed trends. Some commodities, I won't get into each, but some commodities have had a downfall and then picked up, and some commodities like crude and all had a downfall, but some commodities had a growth even during the COVID time. So whether it is the edible oils, whether it is the LNG, the steel and project cargo, so all this had a good growth during the COVID times. And even the container traffic was growing. Of late, the agri products have seen a remarkable increase in India. The COVID had its impact on the number of calls. In the previous year, 1920, non-container traffic, this is only non-container, not the container traffic, was 27,678 calls, whereas in the COVID year, that is last financial year, it was 24,000. So yes, there was a reduction in the number of calls in India. So we have the data available for all the ports. Anybody requiring any time, it can be made available. One thing that we are very proud to say that during COVID times, we were the only agency that handled maximum crew change, and we were the first ones to handle in all the ports and effect the crew change as per the procedures laid down by the government authorities, the port authorities, the custom authorities. We were there for the crew to be signed off, both Indian and foreign crew, and we handled more than 23,000 crew during this last 1 year. So it has been a stupendous effort, which has helped a lot of seafarers reach safely home to different parts of the country. And for that, we have received a lot of appreciations from many of the crew as also the ship owners. It has been really good time. We did get a lot of appreciations. So to conclude, we are a company with a 105 years old legacy. We provide all the kinds of shipping support services under one roof. We have more than 1,000 principals across the world, some of which has been initiated and brought under our purview by the Navigator. The COVID impact had its adverse impact in the shipping in general in India, but we did face it with a lot of determination and a lot of initiatives. So we have, in a way, won the first battle of over the COVID by having all the activities done without any stoppages. And even in the second wave, we are sure that we will be able to conquer and come up trumps against the COVID. So we are BAXI, your trusted partner in India. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sushil. And after the presentations from all of you, I will also address some questions to you. At this point, I'm passing to Jose from Panama, in order also for him to welcome Jose. And he will also present to us what's going on with ILG.
Thank you very much, Danai. Thank you very much, Navigator, for this opportunity, and congratulations for your 30th anniversary and being able to make this online forum happen, as I have the opportunity to participate in some of them in Greece, and well, due to the world circumstances, we're unable to attend there, but you made it possible, and that's a great achievement. So congratulations, Danai. I will share my screen so you can check you can see my presentation as well. Well, ILG, and I'm going to be very brief. I made a sum up. I will give you an overview of the situation of the COVID in Panama. Make it brief of ILG Logistics, who we are, what we do, our developments during the pandemic and how impacted our services. Also, of course, I have to give and share you information about the Panama Canal, some key numbers, some records, how also the pandemic impacted the Panama Canal and the port operations in Panama. And also update you on some the water surcharge and other marine services that will have changes in tariffs in the forthcoming months. That it's important that all the ship owners be informed, and also update you on the Green Route and the Green Connection program, that it's an initiative that the Panama Canal has taken in order to contribute to the ecologic impact, and it's giving also incentives to ship owners to have the vessels more in line with the ecologic initiatives. So without being further, this is how the COVID has impacted Panama. I must say that Panama, being a small country of only 4 million people, having cases, and we reached a peak of 25 cases in one day at the end of the 2020. That was a huge, and it drove the sanitary authorities into a crisis. But nevertheless, nowadays the situation with the COVID is relatively under control, and nowadays we have approximately 300 cases per day. So now I would say that the situation of the the COVID is relatively under control. Panama, so far we have nearly 360,000 cases, and nowadays also have vaccinated 600,000 people. So let's say that nearly 50% of the people at least have already have one dose of the vaccine. Panama had two lockdowns, have had two major lockdowns, one which was very long and impacted severely the economy. That was from the second week of March up to September, up to the end of September 2020. The second lockdown or general lockdown was from the third week of December 2020 up to February 2021. During these lockdowns, especially on the first one, the airport was closed to commercial passenger flights during the whole lockdown. Cruise vessels were banned from berthing at Panamanian ports, but nevertheless, the Panama Canal did not stop, nor the Panamanian ports did not stop port operations during the crisis. About the ILG, well, we are a company that already have over 40 years of experience. We are in the Costa Rican stock exchange. We are fiscalized, and we're a Fitch rating company. We are periodically evaluated. We're members of several networks around the world: Project Logistics Alliance, Florida Cruise Shipping Association. We are ISO certified. We are also BAXI certified. We have very good relationships, not only in Panama, but also in the whole Central America region. This is our footprint. We started in Costa Rica, but expanded to the whole Central America region since the early 2000s, and now we have operations in the whole Central America region and Dominican Republic. We are not only a ship agent, we provide all type of services regarding the international supply chain. We define ourselves as a logistics operator capable of providing international transportation in all its modes: custom brokers, warehouse management, inventory management, cargo consolidation, and of course, ship agents and ship brokers. We're not only break bulk agents and tanker vessel agents, but we also represent some regular liner vessels in Costa Rica and Nicaragua, and we, of course, are Panama Canal transit agents. Our services in Panama, we're, as I said, Panama Canal transit agents, port agents, and husbandry agents. We provide the full scope of services in the Panama Canal, having experienced and repeatable staff, have very good communication with the port captains, and keep daily reports to all of our customers online, via chat, and keep updated on the Panama Canal situation that changes every day, and really have an impact on our owners. We try to do customized SOPs for each customer to establish the adequate communication and reporting procedures. Also, we are port agents. We're experts in break bulk cargoes, steel and projects, tanker operation, ship-to-ship operations, and we provide and we also have very good communication with the port management in order to get commitments and secure smooth and quick operations. Also, the husbandry part, the husbandry services, we support our vessel owners and managers with full husbandry services, spare part deliveries, crew changes, medical assistance to seamen when needed, cash to master, coordination of bunkers, provision, garbage collection, inspection, repairs, act as owners protecting agents, and legal support. One of the key success for us to make it that we have in during the pandemic crisis was that we become one of the pioneer in crew changes in Panama. Although that the airports were closed in most of the Central America region, we managed and led the initiative to make happen the crew changes. We were able to bring humanitarian assistance to 8 cruise ships, providing stores, supplies, and the reputation of nearly 560 seamen in Central America during the pandemic. And after the airports were open, we took the lead in also being able to assist all of our owners on the sea, on the crew changes, in as the regulations keep changing, but have found the ways to make sure and keep reliability during the crew changes in order to make them happen whenever is needed. The CTMs, the spare part deliveries, we are proud to say that we have a 99% of accomplishment on the requirements in order not to miss the schedule of the vessels. Of course, we will have to change our ways of meeting our customers through virtual meetings, video calls, and make to keep our personal contact with our customers. The port operations, we also find ways to keep our on-site supervision in order to secure quick and smooth dispatch of the vessels that calls the Panamanian and the Central America ports. Some of the Panama Canal facts, as I said, though the crisis impacted severely and Panama has 2 general lockdowns, the Panama Canal has not stopped operations. Though in the first semester, the figures when they have an increase in the total number of transits, the second semester was impacted more or less in the same figure. So the pandemic and the total transits for the Panama Canal stay more or less the same level as the previous year. This year, or 2020, the Panama Canal has 13,360 transits during the year. Some of the records were achieved during the last year. 13 Neo-Panamax transits were accomplished in one day. When the Neo-Panamax started, they were transiting only 6 Neo-Panamax vessels. Now, during the last year, they double the number of transits through the Neo-Panamax locks. The 10,000 transit on the Neo-Panamax was accomplished by the vessel SK Resolute in August 2020. The Panama Canal has a maximum that is safety first, and they always have taken extra caution measures in order to secure the safety of the vessels transiting the canal. And they have deployed over 9,000 employees, 258 pilots, 46 tugs, and 100 locomotives in order to secure that the transits are quick and smooth, and most important, safe through the canal. Also, well, for the ship owners, this might not be good news, but it's important to mention. Last year, the Panama Canal implemented a water surcharge in order to secure the availability of fresh water and avoid draft restrictions for vessels transiting the Panama Canal. This was a fixed fee per vessel dimension and a variable fee according to the Gatun Lake level. The objective of this project or this surcharge is to implement a portfolio of projects that would guarantee the water availability. There is a bid on this new water management system, and the contract is expected to be awarded during 2021 during this year. Also, there are other marine services new tariffs that actually some are already in place, starting since April 15, which includes the auction process for the super vessels and the neo-Panamax, for the Panamax and the neo-Panamax vessels, also the wires, the locomotives, the tugs, and the security charges. And starting on June 1st, there's going to be also another increase on the transit reservation system. That will be, as I said, started on June 1st. And last but not least, the Green Route and the Green Connection Program. The objective of this program is to help the shipping industry to mitigate the environmental impact, reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. The vessel must comply with an environmental ship index, and when they accomplish this and get at least 35 points in the level, a scorecard will be given to this vessel, and the benefits for the owners that have vessels complying with this, they will award with a number of transit portion, with the percentage of points in the number of transit portion in the customer ranking to improve their position in the ranking. The benefit of this is that when coming to auctions or slot assignments, when competition, the slots are always awarded to the highest ranking bidder. So in order to end my presentation, thank you very much. And Danai, thank you for allowing us.
You tried to convince us that Panama Canal is better to transit through Panama Canal.
Absolutely.
This is why you wanted more time. Thank you very much, Jose. And very quickly, I will pass the microphone to Hugh Buchanan of AGENCIA MARITIMA NABSA. We are together almost 30 years, I can say. So it is a great pleasure. It's not so easy to see you virtually, Hugh. In normal life, we're meeting and we're hugging. So I'm very happy that you're also here together with us, and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You can hear me okay, Danai? And yeah?
Everything great.
Okay. Thank you, Danai, for allowing us to join the forum, and congratulations again on your 30th year anniversary. It's a pleasure to share this very quick presentation of mine with all our colleagues, which are online now. But before doing that, I just want to say a big thank you to the Bezantakos family for all the support which has been provided to us over so many years. It's friendship, it's support, it's authentic interest to help us, and it's very much appreciated. Okay. Not being an expert myself on technology, I mean, I'm a seafarer, or I was a seafarer before, but I will do my best to try and share my screen. So let's give it a go, yeah? I mean, I'll start now trying to do a screen share. I'm not sure if it's visible at the moment to you.
No, it's not yet. Now it is starting. Everything great. You see,
Okay.
nobody is perfect except the captain. So you used to travel on board. You are perfect.
No. Only Captain Dimitris Bezantakos is perfect.
Great, Hugh. Thank you.
Anyway, so, Agencia Marítima NABSA was started in 1987. That's more than 30 years ago. It was started by an entrepreneur based here in Argentina. And ever since then, ever since inception, it has grown steadily to become today one of the leading shipping enterprises in the country and in the area, in fact. So having said that, I would just like to clarify that we provide mainly agency services in Argentina, but we do so as well in Uruguay. Of course, in Uruguay, we do not have our own office, so we subcontract and coordinate and arrange all operations through our headquarters in Argentina. Since inception, since NABSA was started, in 1987, we have handled a huge amount of vessels. As you can see on the screen, more than 22,000 ships have come through our hands or have been handled through us. And this implies more than 31,000 port calls. Our headquarters are in Buenos Aires, although during the last year, at least a year now, we have not been physically attending the office, which means we have all been working remotely. In fact, myself, I am no longer in Argentina as we speak. I am in Uruguay at the moment across the River Plate. But we have learned. It's been a tough process initially in March and April last year, but we managed. We have increased our participation in the local market, and we have, of course, we were forced to modernize all our systems to ensure that we could cope by providing the very best possible service, even though we were not physically at the office where we could check with each colleague as we had been doing until we were forced to go home and work from home. Our head office, as I said, is based in Buenos Aires, but we have our own branch offices located on the main Paraná River, let's say, areas. This is basically San Lorenzo, Rosario, and Campana. I'm sure they are familiar to a few of you who are sharing this presentation. At all other locations in Argentina, we provide first-class shipping services through our network of sub-agents. And this includes every single port in Argentina, all the way down to Ushuaia on the Tierra del Fuego island, and of course, including transits through the Magellan Straits. Now, having said this, we are very active on the operation side. Our core business, in fact, is handling grain. As you all possibly know, Argentina is one of the biggest producers in the world of grain and byproducts. The largest crushing facilities for soya in the world are today located in Argentina on the Paraná River. And these are basically managed by the very big guys, the ABCDs, the ADMs, the Bunges, the Dreyfuses, the Cargills, the Kofcos of this world. So we are very active with them. We handle basically grain and vegetable oil, a lot of which goes to India nowadays, and also to China. But of course, on the grains, the destinations are extremely diverse. And on the byproducts, Argentina being the main soya crusher in the world today, so we are huge exporters for soybean meal, shipped mainly to Southeast Asian countries like Philippines, like Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, and Malaysia. We also handle steels, we handle iron ore cargoes, we handle break bulk cargoes, wood, pine logs, etc., etc. And having said this, I would like to clarify also that we recently opened a commercial office in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And together with that office and our headquarters in Buenos Aires, we we have been doing quite a bit of shipbroking, and that has increased during this last year. And this includes cargoes coming in and going out of the east coast of South America. But not only that, we also handle cargoes or fix ships for loading cargoes out of other destinations, such as East Africa, bound for China. In the case of iron ore, we are very close to Vale. As you well know, it's one of the biggest iron ore producers in the world, based in Brazil. So we're very close to them, helping them with their export programs annually. Okay, now, as all of us know, being agents is not an easy task. Argentina is a very, very competitive market today. We have seen, as you may have seen in your different locations, small agency setups as a spring-off from larger agents. And these small agency setups tend to be quite a nightmare for us big guys who have structure, who have reliable and large staffs, who have big offices with plenty of investment. So as I said, the competition is very tough. And this has forced us to focus tremendously on service, on information, and becoming very, very cost effective. We have learned our lessons the hard way, but we have adapted. And today we are, I would say, one of the leading shipping agents in the area, providing first-class service at a very competitive cost. Our team in Buenos Aires, which is our headquarters, basically our operations team, is today 10 persons, and half of them, including myself, are seafarers. We have all been at sea on different ships in our earlier days, and that has been a great asset for developing our business. We, of course, have plenty of intelligence, local intelligence. We're well connected with all the appropriate establishments in Argentina, with the port authorities, with the shippers, with the terminals, etc., etc. So we basically provide a very, I would say, professional service, and we provide this service mainly to charterers, but to ship owners, ship managers, crewing agents, technical managers worldwide. So, you know, we have done well. We cannot complain. The pandemic has caused huge havoc in the area, and it still is. We are today entering the second wave, and we are still on the ascent. That's on the ascending side of the wave. It is extremely worrying what is happening in the area. A lot of the sanitary systems are showing huge signs of strain. But okay, we will pull through. We will pull through. We have to pull through, but it's not an easy time. And I will not go into detail in terms of the number of cases or casualties, but they are rising again, which is a great concern for us all. So we must all, you know, stay safe and healthy. And I wish this to all of you as well, wherever you may be in the world today, okay? And just to close or approach my closing of this very brief presentation, we became MACN members a few months ago. This is the Maritime Anti-Corruption Network, which we joined to try with collective action to fight and defeat corruption in the maritime industry in this area. As you possibly know, you have possibly read different publications in the past few years. Argentina has been very much affected by corruption, unfortunately, and we have been fighting this for many years now, together with BIMCO, with whom we, being subscribed to BIMCO as members for many years now. But now with MACN, we believe that we can make a difference. We are ISO certified 9001-2015 by SGS. We are FONASBA approved or certified. And of course, we have our own, subscribed to ITIC, International Transport Intermediaries Club in the UK as our underwriters. So all in all, I mean, you know, we are one of the leading companies of this kind in this area, in this region, which is extremely dynamic and challenging today. And not to bore you with very much more, I think what I will do is sign off with a very quick message to the Bezantacos family. Yeah? I mean, I know I said this before at the initiation of my presentation, but it's been a long time. We have endured a lot of hardships in our 30+ years, and thanks to Navigator, we have, let's say, surfed the waves in the very best possible way which we could. So Danai, Captain Dimitris, Bezantacos family, your fantastic teams, thank you so much. And since you are based in Greece, and a country which we love, and which we are similar in terms of, you know, the Latin style, I cannot close without congratulating the tremendous and magnificent job which the Hellenic shipping community as a whole has done until this date. I mean, it's magnificent, it's unbelievable. So let's hope that we can all meet again soon, personally, please, personally. This of Zooming here and there and everywhere, it's, you know, it's not the best. So let's hope that the world will go back to normality soon, and maybe we can meet with Danai and those who are who have joined this panel now. So thank you for your patience. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
Thank you too. Thank you too. And the good thing is that we heard from the international organizations that the vaccination is a priority. And I think that the better the vaccination goes, the sooner we will meet. And, you know, crises always bring opportunities also. So I think that we will try to become better through this crisis. Thank you very much, Hugh. Meera from DIABOS, Meera Kumar, she will also make a short presentation for DIABOS, the DA's system business unit. We are also cooperating with DIABOS many years. It's also very important to see the technological side of the DAs, but also, as we said initially, to be with technology, but not technology to control us. So this is what we try to do with DIABOS. Let's see what Meera has to say to us. Meera, welcome also.
Thank you so much, Danai. And firstly, thank you so much for inviting me. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm glad I logged in early. I'm glad I got to listen to all the wonderful speakers in the previous panel. I must tell you, it felt familiar. I'm a very proud fellow of the ICS. I really love the work they do. Also, after the COVID lockdown, I got an opportunity to volunteer with UNCITRAL on their working group 4 for electronic PLs. So it was so beautiful to see the kind of work they do and their opinions on how they're taking things forward. Thank you. Don't worry, I have a very brief presentation. I know you've saved me for the last, starting now. I hope you can see me.
Yes, now it is starting. Yes, everything great.
Perfect. So let me tell you a little bit about DIABOS and what we do. We're a small niche cost optimization company. It's nice to be clubbed with the agents. I've been an agent for over 20 years. Before I moved over to technology for shipping. It's a very, very familiar part of shipping to me. And I genuinely think that that's where you learn the most, because you actually get to see what every stakeholder in the ecosystem wants out of you. So at DIABOS, what we believe is that we have to see change as an opportunity. And this statement was not made after COVID. This has been our vision before that. So let me tell you a little bit about who we are. Before me, we had my colleague Sushil, and also from the same group. We are from the BAXI group. But DIABOS is headquartered in the Middle East, in UAE, in Dubai. We have a vision to provide all aspects of cost optimization to vessel owners, operators, charterers, and brokers. We offer, I'll tell you in the next slide about our service suite. Our credentials are always matched against the best in the world. We make sure that we're certified, and we make sure that we're compliant with all the latest legislation in terms of anti-corruption and compliance. We have about 120 people now on DIABOS roles. We handle more than 4,000 port calls every month. We operate, as mentioned, out of Dubai, Mumbai, and a city called Pune in India. We've been partners of Navigator for over a decade as well, and really happy to continue that for the next decade to come, Denai. This is our service suite. If you take a look, what we offer is the complete DA processing end-to-end for our clients. We have a platform called Port DA, which has anonymized costs. So if our clients are operating in a new side of the world, they can go in there for their voyage costing and get an idea about what cost looks like in that area before they even get into fixtures. We also provide cash management services, and this one came in the highlight over the COVID period because there were several new FCA compliance regulations, as some of you might know, and that threw a spanner in the works for the way people managed cash and payments around the world, and obviously then hurt the agent, hurt the vessel, and hurt the principal alike. So the cash management services we provide, we are able to, along with our fintech partners, provide global services in over 35 currencies, from major to minor to exotics. And we're able to provide a very, very cost-effective way of delivering those cash management services. We also do vendor management. So for those operators who have direct contracts with their vendors and who then don't go through their agents, they often come to us and request us to handle the processing aspect of the vendor bill with the same cost vision that we take to disbursement accounting. We do post-fixture activities. I noticed some of the other esteemed panelists talking about their participation either in broking or in fixing vessels. We offer post-fixture services to lay-time calculations, lay-time reconciliation, charter party writing, and charter party reconciliation. Our services have been offered from the year 2008 onwards, and we have a team of very, very dedicated, specialized people doing these calculations here in India. Most people on our team are either with a decade plus of experience in what they do or with as much experience at sea. What we have added very recently is digitization projects to our service suite. So digitization, as most people today spoke, Danae, is here to stay, whether we like it or not. And coming from the mother group of companies that we belong to, we have an in-depth understanding and experience of what digitization can do for the industry. So as DIABOS, what we're going to start with this year onwards is offering our knowledge on how to digitize to organizations in the sector who are looking to change their style of working, whether it be in the agency side, whether the ship owner side, operator side, charterer side, either way. So we could engage on a consultancy, or we could actually get out there and develop something for a client. These are some of our satisfied clients. We're still a small company, but we're a people company. And I noticed, Danae, that most of the members on your panel, we seem to share similar values. So I can see why an organization like yours has picked a certain set of people. I kept hearing the same keywords, more about people, more about trust, of transparency, and that's very much what we stand for as well. You've asked me to also cover briefly technology, and while it's a topic very, very close to my heart, I've tried to keep it very brief. I think it's important to understand why now and what actually is driving the digital wave. It wasn't really COVID. For about 15 years before COVID, there's been a rising voice trying to convey to the shipping community that it's time to go digital. And the reasons are all very, very sound. So sustainability is something people talked about throughout, and technology aids sustainability. You talked about the green wave, Hugh, and technology is applied to deliver that. Efficiency or profit is the second one, and technology is critical for us to deliver that sort of efficiency in the next era of shipping. And finally, and the important and interesting one is the ecosystem. So till now, we've all really been isolated in our own pockets. Nobody really cared too much what happened beyond their realm of liability or their realm of profitability. But now the ecosystem is here to stay. So whether it's the final consumer of the product or the manufacturer or the vessel owner or the port or the government or the customs, everybody has now come to demand a certain level of visibility. And that's where technology will come in and deliver on that promise. So we again, as an organization and a group of companies that does a lot of extensive work in building these sort of multiple stakeholder ecosystems and platforms, we at DIABOS genuinely see the value of this technology. The interesting thing, of course, is that technology on its own does not do its job, and it requires people. So when you also asked me to speak about smart ships and smart ports, I kept it really brief, Danae, because I often hear from particularly the seafaring colleagues in my company about how skeptical they are on how soon all of this is going to come to pass. What I often say to them is what I'd like to share with you as well. It is going to come to pass. How soon one could debate, but it is going to come to pass. But what is never going to change is it's still going to be the people behind a company that will sell a brand. Because one can buy technology, but one cannot build the culture of an organization. And that's going to still, separate the winners from the wannabe winners. And that's the culture of shipping that's going to continue. So at DIABOS, this is what we try and do. We have a cloud-based platform which we use for delivering our services. We're moving several leaps in technology. We're moving towards mobile apps and we're moving towards more automation. But we always ensure we tell our clients that we're a people company. We didn't let go a single person through COVID. In fact, we continue to hire. We found that our people could actually communicate better with agents around the world. We work with around 8,500 agents around the world. We handle around 40,000 plus port calls. And in times like this, when the normal rules don't apply, it's important to have a human being who can assess the situation, talk to the person at the other side, and find the right solution for all parties concerned. So I'm going to close here, Danae. Thank you so much again.
Thank you too. And very quickly, because we have also to pass to the panel of the towing companies, I would like to ask Sushil, how you faced the difficulties during the pandemic. I know it's very general question, but the question of many Greek shipping companies was, India is a huge country, too many ports, but we managed not to have any delay and significant problem all this year that we're keep cooperating and we're proud of with BAXI. So how was it? Was the teamwork? It was what it was that made you have such great results?
Thank you, Danae. I have an interesting question. I think it was both teamwork and a big part also played by the leadership, which populated right from the top. In fact, our managing director, Dhruv, Mr. Dhruv Kotak, down to the person in the port, everybody was involved. We, in anticipation, had taken a lot of initiatives well before the lockdown even happened. Knowing what happens in lockdown in other countries, we were, as soon as it was clamped in India, we had our whole mechanisms and systems in place. So there were, in fact, WhatsApp was possibly the most widely used application. And it really came in handy this time, where we had three major groups formed. One was at the leadership level, that is right at the managing director level, and all the chief executives of all the verticals, which I showed in the presentation. Second was at my level and my senior team. And third was all the branch heads. So each of them was aware of what's happening. The information passed either from top to bottom or from bottom to top in these three groups. So every new circular, every new information that was being rolled out by the various authorities was available to everyone within seconds or on virtually on real-time basis. Because the government authorities, initially there was a chaos, but eventually when they learned their things, they came out with various regulations and rules of berthing of the ships, of crew changes, and each of this was in a form of a circular or a notification which came from the DG shipping and from customs and from port authorities. So we were, because of our outreach, because we had an office in every port of the country, we knew what's happening, and that helped us to be one step ahead of the competition. We kept our principals informed on real-time basis. We developed a mobile app because our people couldn't be there moving around everywhere. So there was a mobile app through which is coming handy even today. The person, executive, even when he's on the ship or anywhere, he's moving around, he would update the vessel berthing status, vessel sailing status, the cargo position on daily basis, everything on mobile app. So he really didn't have to go back to the office in the COVID times. He didn't have to move around too much. So that was what helped. Our soldiers on the ground, what I in fact started calling them the brave hearts, because even during the pandemic, honestly, we at the head office were more ensconced in our homes, in the safety of our homes, if I may put, but the teams on the ground were there going onto the ships with the proper PP. That is something that we really ensured that everybody had the top class masks and sanitizers with them. So these brave hearts actually ensured that the vessel's operations were never affected. They ensured that the vessels berthed and sailed on time. They ensured that the crew changes happened on time. So it was really amazing efforts by the people on the ground. Hats off to them. It is what actually all the appreciation that I showed in my presentation is thanks to them.
Very
one thing that we ensured was the payments to the vendors on time. This was very important during the pandemic time, because if you don't make the payments to them on time, they wouldn't give you the service. Everybody wanted ready cash during that time. So that is something that we ensured. So overall, yeah, it was a good teamwork led by Ably right from the top to bottom. And that's what ensured that we cleared the pandemic times very clearly.
With a history of more than 100 years, so it's very, very important. Hugh, you're also managing too many ports there in Argentina, and we also have great things to say by the Greek ship owners that they are cooperating with AGENCIA, Maritime, and NABSA all these years. What's going on with the crew changes? I mean, do you see any light in the tunnel of this big problem in Argentina? Do you see the things improving?
That's a very sensitive issue, believe me. And being a seafarer myself, or having been at sea, and having listened to the previous panelists, I fully sympathize with crew members today. There are so many crew members which are on board, which are unable to return home to their loved ones. And of course, there are crew members at their hometowns which are unable to join ships today. I'm talking in general terms. And I heard one of your panelists mention rightly that fatigue sets in and becomes an issue for, let's say, safe handling of ships and their cargoes and those human beings on board, and of course to third parties, right? So unfortunately, with regret, I have to admit that Argentina so far is not an option, and I cannot see a light at the end of the tunnel at the moment, more so considering that we are entering the famous second wave, and it is proving to be much worse than the first one. Why? Because we are so close to Brazil. We share common borders, and these borders are not, of course, necessarily separated by rivers. So we have border towns, which where the town is one and only, and what divides one country from another is perhaps just the middle of the street. And it's so difficult to control these people crossing over and then making their way south. So today we find that the Manaus version of the COVID virus is very, very active in the area. So the authorities have said no. They have closed the borders again, and very strictly this time. They have prohibited the ingress of any foreigners at the moment. And those which are Argentine and which are overseas, they need very special permits to return to Argentina, which is an issue. And just to give you a very quick example of what a nightmare it can be, we had a case 2 months ago or 3 where there was a troublemaker on board a vessel in one of our Atlantic ports at Bahia Blanca. The owners asked us to assist with a repatriation as an exception. We could not manage it. We could not achieve it. We tried. So the owners, through international networks, contacted the Liberian chargé d'affaires in Argentina, and he managed through diplomatic channels to secure a repatriation for this troublemaker. It took that troublemaker 12 days from the moment he disembarked from the vessel to reach the Philippines. Why? Because during the domestic transfer in Argentina itself, there were many issues. When he arrived at Buenos Aires, where he was supposed to take his first repatriation flight, he was isolated because of misinterpretation of legislations. Finally, he was escorted to the airport. He flew to Santiago de Chile across the Andes to catch another flight to Brazil, and from there on to another European destination, and from there to the Philippines. He was isolated in Santiago de Chile for almost a week at the airport without being able to exit the airport. Terrible, terrible. So if, I mean, my answer is no light at the end of the tunnel. And I really sympathize with the seafarers today. It's a huge issue.
And as a friend of mine that a captain has told me is that, yes, Neptune Declaration, you know, it's a step ahead, let's say, but if this is not being signed by the airline companies, how the crew members will be, go back to their countries, and this is very difficult. So thank you very much for your feedback. It was very, very important. And Jose, there is a lot of discussion on the Ever Given. You know, the canals is in the top 5 of many discussions all over the world. So could you give us some, let's say, some feedback on some measures that could be taken in order to avoid an Ever Given incident? Of course, you cannot see what's going on worldwide. You cannot see what's the weather conditions and the climate change and what's going on. But you have a huge experience of transit canals from thousands of vessels. So maybe you can give us a quick feedback. It cannot be quick, I know, but just the quickest you can, if what could be taken as measures to avoid such a huge incident that costs so much money.
Yes, of course, and yes, actually, the Panama Canal Authority has followed up very closely the incident of the Ever Given in the Suez Canal, and we, the agents, have addressed and questioned if any additional measures have need to be taken. But to be honest, and we have seen this, and that's why the Panama Canal Administrator recently had made a press release, and they are making a lot of emphasis on safety first, because they take extra measures for everything. And sometimes I must say that some owners complain why they are so strict, and maybe being so strict, that's the reason why this type of event has been avoided. And so far, and knock on wood, that on the Panama Canal we have not seen this type of major incidents over 100 years that the Panama Canal has of existence. All vessels are pre-inspected prior to the transits, that to make sure that all their systems are working. Eh, Also, whenever there's a slight failure or any detail that make the pilot safe and secure, a transit can be canceled, can be delayed, the vessel can be stopped or more at some of the during the her transit, and also on the, let's say, the passages that can be complicated. The the bigger vessels are always escorted by 2 or 3 tugboats. So this ensures that, well, we cannot assure 100%, but let's say minimize the risk of an incident or a major incident, because of course, and we cannot be blind, that some minor incidents have occurred, but not a critical incident that blocks or affects the transits of the Panama Canal. I must say that in well, I cannot tell by for the 100 years, but in my experience, I have only seen once that the vessels or the canal authority stopped the transits due to weather conditions. That was back in 2010. It was a huge, it was a severe rain for one day, and the transit were stopped for a couple of hours. But so far from there, none is not stopped. So yes, Danai, what I can say is, for the Panama Canal, it's make sure the precautions are taken, and they are being taken in order to avoid this.
Very important. You're very right. And Meera, do you see changes? Do you foresee changes in the port cost and post-fix arena in the new normal, as we say, the new era?
Thank you for the question, Tanay. Yes, actually, it's been interesting because when we navigated through the past 15, 16 odd months, and we don't know how much longer, we did see a few changes. For example, it has been different dealing with the crisis in different parts of the world. And what we found is for ship owners, ship operators, charterers, when they suddenly had to get into this remote working, it was actually more difficult for them with smaller teams, unused to remote working, to manage their operations 24/7. While an organization like ours was able to move into 100% work from home. We've been 100% work from home from March last year till date now. Secondly, technology. Technology is an answer, but technology is expensive when one needs to deploy just one unit at a time. So there again, when we were able to bring in answers to completely 100% eradicate paper, which was a very paper intensive process to receive invoices, disbursement accounts, pour over them, and then dialogue on reducing cost. We've been able to go 100% paperless by deploying technology on the platform. But for individual small operator owners, it is expensive to deploy the same kind of action immediately. Thirdly, in terms of even the lifestyle and the method of working, so what we were able to do is move into shift-wise working, hire more people when we needed to, train them because then we have a vaster database to train by. And the other areas, then where people were going to for their cost optimization was either with an internal hired team, which suffered from all the problems which I just mentioned, or by going to hubs. And what we noticed is with this new normal, there are strain points when you talk about large hub operations there, and people started preferring neutral parties like us who then offer just cost optimization as a service and not bundle it with 3 other or 4 other or 5 other kind of services. So I think for us, definitely the interest is more. Now what we're thinking of is how we're going to scale up, how we're going to make the right kind of connections and friendships around the world so that we can sustain when we deliver our services globally. Thank you.
Very important. Thank you very much. Thank you very much all. Meera, Hugh, Jose, and Sushil, thank you for being with us and for this great discussion on the port agency matters. Looking forward to meeting you soon, not only virtually. So thank you very, very much for the cooperation we have all these years. And let's hope for many more to come.